quantized, to shift each beat in a rhythmic pattern to the nearest beat of a given resolution. Confusion, loss of orientation sometimes accompanied by disordered consciousness. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the quantized confusion.
We always have these really good conversations, and we talk about dating a lot and things like that because I'm a recently what do I call myself? I'm an empty nester, and I've recently become single after 6 years. And it's just very interesting. Like literally, when I got ready, or actually just the week before they declared the state of emergency, I had just moved into my house, or not even moved into my house. I had started to move into my new house, which is still under renovation. And, some of my girls was like, oh, if I was you, I would just stay where I'm at, because I was living with my ex-boyfriend. I would just stay where I'm at. Things are going to get bad. People are going to get crazy. All these things going on and all these thoughts going through my head. And I'm like, oh, damn, shit, should I stay where I'm at? Because
I never thought that.
Really?
I thought you should know. I was like, no, you should go.
You're right.
We had this conversation, and I was like, no, yeah, it's time to go. So
right, that's true, because we're all most of the time on the same page about stuff like this. And you like shit, whatever. But yeah, so other people were telling me that, and then I moved, and then this happened. Mm-hmm. So, needless to say, the whole dating thing is kind of at a standstill right now.
Right.
So I guess what have you been doing to cope with the whole, everything that's going on? So just first of all, let's tell everybody about yourself. Let's start with that.
Well, I mean, unlike you, I wasn't in a serious relationship. I date, but I have commitment issues, which is another story. But
right.
I date and I hang out with people, but I never had a problem with just being alone in the house by myself. Uh-huh. Now, since we've been here for 6 weeks, is it 6 weeks now?
I think it's 7.
There's 7 weeks, whatever the time is now. I'm like, damn, maybe I should have had a quarantine boo.
Right.
Yeah, but I know how quick too. Knowing myself, I know how fast I would have changed my mind too.
Mm-hmm.
After a week or two, I would have been, hey, it's probably time to go. Well, one of us got to leave. So I'm perfectly happy with being in my space. But, just miss companionship.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would normally have. But now I'm just kind of like, it's not even worth, I'm not going to say worth the effort, but worth the consequence, right?
Right. And that was my thing, like with me and my ex being quarantined together, I don't think that would have been a good thing at all, because he worked most of the time. So that's actually why our relationship lasted so long. Right. So I cannot imagine being stuck in the house with him, 24/7 for 7 weeks or whatever. Although I have been working part-time a little bit, not much. I can't imagine doing it. I think that would have just been the straw that really ultimately broke the camel's back.
Yeah.
It's already broke, obviously. But I just feel like we were just getting at each other's throat. And everything, I feel like everything is as it should be. Like you said, I'm like, damn, I wish I did sometimes have a quarantine boo. It'd be nice to have a nice warm body. But overall, I don't want anybody in my space all the time.
I know.
Yeah, I don't
look, even if it wasn't like the whole quarantine boo type going thing, just in general, I mean, because you're better than me, like that whole 5-6 year thing every day. But like you said, he was working most of the time. And the last time I lived with a guy, he was out on the road. He was a trucker. So him being home, him being gone for 3 or 4 days a week, oh, I loved it. And then he'd come home on the weekends, and then he would leave again, and that was fine. I think that's why that worked. I guess apparently I'm just not a person to be on lockdown in constant contact with.
The thing that is interesting that I found, like, as you know, I had just recently started back dating, started dating someone, and this person and I were dating for like 5 or 6 months up until this happened. And that shit is at a standstill because,
right.
we got to.
You can't, look, at this point in time, what you cannot do is introduce somebody new into your space.
Exactly.
And 5 or 6 months, even though that's 5 or 6 months, but it's still not enough time. Like, you don't know what they're doing like once they leave your presence. So if you don't see them for 3 or 4 days out the week, and then you see them a few days, anything could be happening within that time frame.
Or once a month in my case, but right. Twice a month. Let's just keep it real. So I mean, but to be transparent and completely honest, I know that he's seeing other women. He told me he was seeing other women. It's just, and I actually asked him right before this happened. I was like, well, because I got my little drink on and I got a little curious. And I was like, because usually I don't really care. I was like, well, so how many women are you seeing? He fucked around and told me. And so, when COVID hit the fan, I'm like, oh, no. That is just it's not going to fly, because that's just entirely, it puts you in another risk factor. There's always already a risk with two people.
Listen, don't you find it funny how we treat this like this is like AIDS or herpes?
It's worse. It is worse because this can take you out within a week. And just from being around each other and breathing the same air or whatever. So it's like
sharing water bottles and
oh my God. And you talking about exchanging spit with me, you, her, no.
That can't work. It can't work.
You can't do that.
So from one boo house, come to another boo house and bring it in on his coat from her or which is crazy that you have to think about it that way. Because you're right. It's worse because like with AIDS or herpes or any other sort of sexually transmitted disease, it's curable. AIDS is for the most part curable, right? You can live a long life, but with this, I can die within 14 days or less.
Or less, yes. And you can't put a condom on your, you can't put a condom on it to protect you. You can't do none of that stuff. So it's like, it's just, that's all. Like, what is dating going to look like? What do you, I don't see how dating is going. I just feel like it's going to be a dry year for me personally.
Future, right. Because even when this is over with, you still have to think about that. Like, just going out in general, I don't even know how, are you going to even sit together in the bar? We sitting 3 seats apart? Like, just trying to...
we can't, can't shake.
Like, you got to send me a drink with a note, and then I got to send you a note back because we're not touching each other.
Right.
Here with gloves on.
Right. What's the funniest thing? To try to navigate in public right now is the most hilarious, weird, awkward shit on earth.
Yes.
And I noticed, like, because I'm hormonal, I'm in my 40s. And sometimes I see guys and I'm checking them out and shit just a little bit.
Right.
And homeboys ain't paying me no mind.
Hey, but you know what? I said too, which is kind of true, even though I went to the grocery store today and it was a little guy, and, he was speaking or whatever. But I, in general, when I even walking towards someone down the aisle, first of all, I get mad because they're going the wrong way. Goddamn it, the grocery store say this is a one-way lane.
Oh, you doing the
look, I want y'all to follow the rules. Right. We got to be all going this way. Nobody should be coming towards me, and I have to worry about getting out that way. But anyway, even when I do come in today, I turn my head just the whole other, like, away from their face. Like, they coming towards me, and I'm doing like this.
Right.
Just like,
I'm looking from far away. Don't be mistaken. I'm way over 6 feet away checking out people.
Right.
And let's be clear.
Yeah, I don't even, we got to walk past each other now. We can't make eye contact because I'm like this. I'm like, I don't know if you breathing too hard or you might look coughing as we passing or anything. Right.
Are you wearing a mask when you out?
I've worn like a little handkerchief. I don't have a mask, but I've worn a handkerchief or a scarf or something, but not every time.
Right.
Just make sure that I have gloves. These days, I don't even try and make eye contact with anybody because I feel like it's too much. Like, what if it could come from your eye?
Oh my God, but this is, like we said, this is 7 weeks in. What's going to happen in 3 months? Come on. Like, right now, you can say that, but a few months down the line, you're going to be like, damn, what?
Right.
It just seems, it's so excessive. I don't know how it's going to work, seriously. First few nights after they declared this pandemic, I swear to God, I did not sleep. Like, I kept thinking that I was gonna wake up dead. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Jesus.
I'm like,
so I think what I've been feeling, and even just as like for the first 2 weeks, I just felt kind of like this. I want to say kind of an anxiety, right? I couldn't sleep.
Yes,
I couldn't sleep, and I was working, and I was literally like just making it to wake up on time to start working because I was lower feeling. I was worried about myself because I was like, am I depressed? Like, what's going on? So talking about just, dating, how about just loneliness in the purest sense, or lack of physical contact?
So I have me a phone. I have to say, I have me a phone boo. My phone boo keeps me entertained, and I keep him entertained, and we talk for hours. And both of us are, like isolated. But he's pretty isolated anyway. But how long is that going to be satisfactory? You know what I mean? Like, how long are we going to be comfortable?
So do you think? And I think, because I'm not going to say that I don't trust people, but maybe in general, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would really have to earn my trust, right? So I guess in dating during these times, I mean, obviously there's a kind of a longer kind of
incubation.
Like a longer period of like marinating, right? Right. So you marinate. So this is a much longer time for that people, because people generally like I know people who go sleep or do what to do the next night. You know what I'm saying? So is this forcing us to try and get to know each other more when we do make a decision to try?
I think so. And I think so. I also think that now it's like if you're talking or dating or online or whatever, because that's all we're going to be able to do, pretty much once you meet that person, you're going to be in a relationship with them. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking is going to happen. It's funny.
So now remember, it was, I heard, I don't know who it was, comedian, somebody said, like, if we fuck more than 2 times, we dating. You my man now. So basically,
my thing used to be, if we screw one time, I'd wake up and be like, we in a relationship, right?
Right. Right. So what is it now? Like, if we talk on the phone for more than a week, we exclusive now? Is that what it is?
Nah, I think it's gonna be months, because you don't want to get stuck with the wrong person.
Well, yeah. So the good thing is that this lets you find out, if you're perceptive anyway, whether or not this is the wrong person.
And this is also a great way for women, men, whoever, to know if they're priority. Because if you're not contacting me and checking in on me while we're on quarantine, that lets me know that I was never priority in your life anyway. Right. It is what it is.
Look, and I have to say that I'm terrible at that. So if you waiting on me to call you, I'm so sorry. If you waiting on me to, if I reach out to you once every other week, then that means to me that we cool. Right. So if you expected for me to reach out to you more than once a week, we got a problem.
But see, I feel like the men should, and this is where, whatever, I go into stereotypes or gender roles, we shall say. I feel like the men should reach out to the women. Like, I will say that I've had 3 guys give me masks. So all of them want to see me alive.
Right.
But none of them are
like, they slide you a mask like, hey, baby, stay well until we can go out today.
Until this is over. I want to make sure. And then I had another guy calling me, which he's not a potential for anything. But anyway, calling me to make sure that I was okay. And then he was like, yeah, because I made a joke once, and I was like, my sister said that she prophesized that you and I were going to get married. And she did prophesize that, but I was like, whatever.
Right.
That's not in my game plan for anything. And so I told him this months ago, and, we just cool. I talk to people, I just talk to guys, cool, whatever. And we were cool, whatever. We never dated. And then, like, he called me the other day, and he was like, yeah, and when this is over, me and you gonna get married. No.
First of all, see, listen, you never should have told him that that's what your sister.
It was a joke.
But now it's in his mind, and so he gonna try to make something happen with that.
Girl, that was 10 years ago. She prophesized that. That's what made it so damn funny. It's like, I've been knowing you for 10 years. We never even dated. We never hugged. We hugged.
Girl, he's living on that. He like, it must be true.
That's because he's in quarantine. He going through some things, because being single ain't that fun no more. But yeah, I thought that was like.
Yeah, so I guess that's damn. So you either wish one or 2 things right about now. You either wish that you weren't single, or you wish for sure that you were fucking single right about now.
The key word being fucking single, not fucking single, like fucking Single separately. That's what I wish I was.
Oh,
Let's be clear. So, being single is not that much fun. However, I don't, I'm still good. I don't want to be in a relationship. And I damn sure don't want to be in a relationship.
Because I'm like, is that weird? Is it weird that I don't feel like being in a relationship? Is that weird?
It's not weird because relationships can be a headache. And
Yeah.
I don't feel like feeling.
Does that make me selfish? No, I've been told that before that I was
we both are assholes according to other people. So
I've been told that I was an asshole, but I don't really, I'm like, if I'm an asshole, it's probably just your perception.
Right. It's when you're honest and upfront about what you want, people perceive you sometimes, especially men, as assholes. Oh, let me tell you what homeboy said to me the other day, this is a guy who likes me. And this is one of the guys who brought me, or the guy who brought me to, not this mask, another mask. And so he was like, what was he talking about? Something. Oh, we were talking about everything that I did because he came over, he saw how I had worked on the house. Mm-hmm. And he was like, oh, wow, you do it everything. You just one of those independent women, blah, blah, blah. And he was like, then he said something like, I said, yeah. He said, well, how do you like living by yourself? I said, I love living by myself. I said, I'm really, I'm enjoying my house. I love living by myself, and I do. Mm-hmm. And he was like, yeah, because you one of the most man-hatingest women I ever met. Ooh. How do you form your lips to say that shit to a woman that you call yourself liking? Boo. And I said, no. I said, no, I love men. And I made it clear. I put the love in it. I said, I love. Yes, because I wanted it to be clear. I wanted it to be very clear. I am not one of those women who think that, oh, I don't need a man. That's some bullshit. Because that's not it at all. What I don't need is a man who ain't shit and can't do shit. That's what I don't need. That's what I don't want. This is true. Yeah, no, I don't hate men. I'm not like a man basher, but I definitely. And that's what he tried to accuse me of. And I have had very good experiences with men. I don't have, men ain't shit. My men have been good to me. Shit, I ain't even gonna lie. So for him to say that, and then it all comes from a place of me not accepting and wanting to date him, because I've told him a couple of times that, he draws that conclusion because he just the manliest of man, and if you can't get with him, exactly, because he might be to some people, he might be, and he does appear to be what society might say a catch. But, I've always danced to my own tune, and if it don't feel right, then I don't want it, and it just does not feel right. I want to reach out to the audience and say, what do you guys want us to talk about next week? Because our plan is to do this every week. What are the topics that are interesting, or what you want to talk about, or what advice? I don't know if I want to say advice because I don't listen to people. What advice or what do you want to add to our conversation? Now, what do you want to say, Kiana?
Well, I just think that even from this one single conversation, there are plenty of questions that can come about from this conversation, be it with COVID, be it with dating, be it with different conspiracy theories, be it, even though I don't really want to talk about political shit because political can go just so many different ways.
Right.
But, there are a lot of conversations to be had just for us in our community. With several different things that we probably touched on within this one conversation. So what interests you most, and where do you want to go? And give us some examples. Like, we love examples, because if we can compare apples to apples or apples to oranges, then that would be great.
Another thing is that 5G theory that's going around. I would like to hear people.
Listen, the 5G first of all, it's not biologically possible. It means that you telling me that putting something up to your head is affecting your brain, and then your brain is somehow transmitting a virus, and a phone is not a biological being. So, okay, whatever. If you want to talk about it.
It's obvious that you don't know the theory just based on that. But yes, I do. I want to talk about it a little bit. I want to talk about the 5G theory, because there are a lot of people who really believe that this coronavirus is associated with the 5G. Now, I'm not going to say whether I do or don't, because I don't know. I'm of the I don't know club, and I'm not ashamed to admit that. However, I find it quite interesting based on what I've learned about how the 5G can affect the human body. Yeah, let's talk about that next time.
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, prove it to me. Prove it to me.
Well, we can't prove anything. Hell, they don't even know what the hell going on with this one. How we gonna prove that? We don't even know what the
Okay. Well, look, convince me that it's a possibility. Convince me.
Convince you? I can't convince you.
Yeah,
I just want to discuss it.
Okay.
I'm not yay or nay. I just want to talk about it. So yes, so for day drinking with Kiana and let's say it right. Day drinking with TY and
Q.
you. Sorry. What do y'all want to talk about? So next week on Day Drinking with TY and Q, let's talk about 5G and let's get more into relationships. And what else was it, Kiana?
Let's just talk about every fucking thing. How about that?
Everything. All right. Well, thank you for joining us for our first show, and we'll talk to you later.